Morning. You see, you open a newspaper, listen to a radio show, and watch a TV program, and you are bamboozled. You think that you have been transported back to the 60s when McCarthyism was at its height. And today we are seeing a revival of McCarthyism. The discussion about Russian interference in the US elections is the subject matter of all discussions. But when you really think about it, does it make sense? The arguments that are advanced are so puerile, so infantile, that they raise a suspicion in your minds that are we witnessing the revival of McCarthyism? The people who are criticizing interference in the internal affairs are the same people who advocate interference in the affairs of others. What a hypocrisy. But then, apart from interference, let's take up this matter separately. Let's take it up on merits. An election is held. One of the candidates has indulged in practices that amount to treason against the country if taken properly. If any armed services officer, any person in uniform had committed those acts, he or she would have been in Leavenworth Fort, spending the rest of his or her days of life there. Here was a lady who was openly favoring Saudi Arabia, openly favoring Islamists, and who was primarily responsible for the killing of the American ambassador in Benghazi. The contradictory emails unleashed show her culpability. Now somebody hacked those emails and released them. Whether they were hacked by China, by Russia, or by somebody in Timbuktu is not relevant. The fact is that something has come to light, and the government of USA and its agencies and the Justice Department have failed miserably to take action. The lady is defeated. Now, to find an excuse for the defeat and to doubt the legality of the election, this thing is trumped up. And when I listen to the TV of people talking about it, I'm shocked. They are talking about CIA as if it's the most honest, dependable purveyor of truth, while CIA is known for its dirty tricks. It has a history of interfering in other countries, of killing statesmen, of all the dirty tricks that are found in the book. And the same CIA, which was reviled and held responsible for misinforming George Bush about the weapons of the mass destruction in Iraq, is now held up to a paragon of honesty and truth. How can you believe an organization that was responsible for Bay of Pigs in Cuba? How can you believe an organization that was responsible for killing of the Chilean president Allende? How can you believe that organization which was responsible for killing of General Zia in Pakistan? How can you believe this an organization which is suspected, no proof, of being in cohorts with the killing of President Kennedy? How can you believe an organization which was responsible for causing a coup in Puerto Rico? How can you believe an organization which right from the times of Mr. Hoover till now has been responsible for extrajudicial killing, and not only on the soil of USA but in the other countries? It's not only guilty of killing, it's guilty of spreading canards, creating disharmony, creating acrimony in other countries. And that is why CIA and its front organizations like Ford Foundation were thrown out of the country in 1969. We in India ordered them to pack up and quit, including US Aid organization, because that was an agency which was populated by CIA agents. So, the organization with such a reputation, you are considering to be paragon of truth. Now let's even suppose that they are right. Has it affected in any way the result of the election? No. People were tired and exhausted. Now imagine, here's a contradiction. Till the day before the election, all the opinion polls were saying that she is winning, Hillary, and Trump is going to be defeated. Till that time, nobody had said that because of these emails or because of Russian interference, Trump is likely to win. But the moment he started winning, murmurs started. And those murmurs are assuming the shape of a storm, a hurricane, a tsunami of doubtful rumors. Nevertheless, a tsunami of dishonesty and hypocrisy. A, there is no substantive proof that Russia did it. B, it did not affect the election results materially. C, the agency which is doing it is not above blame and is guilty as hell. It can manufacture evidence. Even if they bring an evidence tomorrow, you can be sure that 90% of that shall be manufactured in-house. Thirdly, USA itself has been interfering in the internal affairs of others, and if its opponents do it, why should it start cribbing? What is sauce for the goose is sauce for the gander. You are not lily white and isolationist. You have been interfering right from North Pole to the South Pole. In each and every country where you could do it, you have been arm twisting countries. And the latest examples are Libya and Syria. So, the whole thing is a facade. Now this leads us to a second question. That is, in this digital age, is it possible in any way to stop hijacking and you can maintain cyber security? It's not possible. If Russia doesn't do it, China would do it. If China doesn't do it, Germany would do it. Germany is not above any suspicion. Germany is very ambitious. And nothing would please Germany more than the downfall of USA. And nothing would please all these proponents of liberalism to ensure that people like Trump, people like Modi, people like Le Pen are not successful. Because that gives them a certain legitimacy to keep on cheating people in the name of liberty, leftist ideas, socialism. So this is a canard being spread. Another point. You talk of globalization. It was President Obama who said that nationalism is no longer the acceptable word. That we are nationalists in a very narrow sense, but primarily we should be the citizens of the world. And that was the plea of his when he said, if injustice is being done in Libya, or human rights are being flouted in Syria, how can as human beings we sit back quietly and watch as spectators? Now, if Russia has seen the same thing, that things are not happening properly according to them in Canada, in USA, then doesn't it give them the right to interfere? How can you assume that you have a right to interfere in other countries and other countries have no right to interfere in you? I'm saying it that by a large, giving that the devil the longest handle spoon, I accept the logic that Russia has interfered, for which there is no proof. And the agency which is giving proof is suspect itself. But assuming that is a fact, then it's just tit for tat. You are sowing you are reaping what you have sown. If you have sown interference, the fruit would be interference. The only thing has been that no country has been strong enough to interfere in USA. I know if some country has the capability to do it, why should it not do it? It is a reversal of roles. So the whole discussion is puerile. It raises the specter that the so-called liberals, you see Democrats in US, are the mirror image of liberals in Canada and liberals everywhere in the world. Dishonest, hypocritical, and concerned with themselves. So those people, since they are concerned with themselves and not with the nation, cannot brook that the condition of the country improves. And when they see a person like Modi, who was a persona non grata, USA even did not give him a visa when he was the chief minister of one of the biggest states, and today they are calling to him. Those countries are doing the same for Trump. And once Trump is successful, which he is likely to be, his initiative already in career shows that he is on the right track, they'll start going to him. And then they might say, Trump should ever be on the throne. This shifting of alliances is normal and is acceptable. But the shifty-eyed liberals and Democrats have got to ensure, have got to realize that the play fields can never be skewed in their favor. A time comes when the play fields would be level. They should not start cribbing. They should not find false excuses. They should not stir up the murky waters which expose only their own stupidity and cupidity. There is a need to realize that all this noise being created, all the hype being created on this issue is symptomatic of their fear that by comparison they are going to pale into nothingness. It is symptomatic of their not being fair-minded. They cannot accept defeat. It is an anathema to them. Nobody can accept defeat. But once you are defeated, you may not accept it, but take it gracefully. They cannot do it. You see the way President Obama said that as a president he was mistreated. There were racist actions against him. Now the strongest person in the world, if there was real racism, then he would not have been elected. And he was elected not once, but twice. So you see, hypocrisy, falsehood, lies. These are the three props of a propaganda machine that is sought to be unleashed with the connivance of an organization which is hallmark of stupidity, which is known for its dishonesty, which is known for its falsehood, and this is responsible for vitiating the atmosphere not only in USA but all over the world. This is a time for the people to realize that it's important to separate chaff from the grain. It's important to realize the truth and the veracity. And the veracity is not what organizations like CIA say. You have got to analyze the situation yourself, and you would find all this noise is sound and fury, signifying only the frustration as well as the hypocrisy of media and their masters. Come out of it. Realize the facts. Live up to facts. That's what is needed.